Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Before we get into today's video, I want to send a quick shout out to my man Shane, who has subscribed to the channel up in the beautiful state of South Carolina. He subscribed to the channel because he is a Clemson fan, and I try my best to get as many Clemson fans as possible here on the channel. Shane, thank you so much for subscribing, and he wants everybody to please check out his website at volara.com/mcrisp, and he said he thanks you in advance if you check out that website. Now, I've written down 10 games for today that I think are intriguing for some reason or another, different reasons for each game. But before I get into those games, let me go ahead and say, for all you Georgia fans, you're not on the list, but it's not because I'm leaving you off for any particular reason. I know a lot of Georgia fans watch this channel. I don't want y'all to watch it and think that I'm doing this just because I'm aggravating y'all. That's not the reason. I wrote these games down because I think they're intriguing for one way or another. You're playing Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's a hot pile of garbage. If Vanderbilt keeps the game within 30 points, I'll be surprised. So, in my opinion, there's nothing intriguing about Georgia beating Vanderbilt by 40 points. So, that's why you're not on the list. I'm writing down games and talking about games that I think could be competitive or intriguing in one way or another. We'll start with the noon games. First game, number 12, Notre Dame, and number 18, Wisconsin. Of course, Wisconsin has a loss on the season, but it came to a top 10 team in Penn State. This game is going to be played at Soldier Field, and I'm excited about seeing a game being played at Soldier Field as long as that stadium has been around. Of course, they were supposed to play last year at Lambeau Field. That game got canceled. Maybe it gets made up in the future. So this game is going to be at Soldier Field, home of the Chicago Bears. Of course, Notre Dame is undefeated, but all three of their wins have been very ugly and nothing close to impressive. They struggled in all three of their wins, but they're undefeated, and that's what matters. And, of course, their quarterback is a transfer from Wisconsin who actually had the third highest completion percentage ever for a Wisconsin quarterback, but he still lost his job, so he transferred to Notre Dame. So it should be fun to see him go up against his former team. Also at noon is LSU and Mississippi State. This should be a good competitive game. I think Michael Leach has Mississippi State going in the right direction, but it's just going to take him 3 or 4 years as long as they have the patience. I still think this is Ed Orgeron's last year with LSU. Maybe I'm wrong, but both these teams have a loss already, and I don't think either team has beaten Bama, and I don't think either team has beaten Ole Miss. So whoever loses this game might be in for a 4 or 5 loss season, so both teams need this win really badly. The next game on the docket at 12 o'clock noon is Missouri and Boston College. Now, a month ago, when I saw this game on the schedule, I thought, well, Boston College will win that game because Boston College has a really good defense, but now with their quarterback, Phil Jurkovec, being out, and their backup quarterback's just average at best. He's more of a game manager than he is a quarterback. So this should be a very good game now, and it could go either way. I really don't see one team being a lot better than the other one. And the last game at 12 o'clock noon that caught my attention is Texas Tech and Texas. And that's because we know it's Steve Sarkisian's first year with the Longhorns, but we know Texas expects to win every game, no matter who they play. And if Texas Tech by some chance beats Texas, then the headline Sunday morning is going to be, did Texas make the wrong hire? What's wrong with Texas? It will happen if Texas Tech wins that game coming up at 12 o'clock today. At 3:30, we've got Texas A&M and Arkansas. Another game with two ranked teams going up against each other. Should be a very good game. I'm a huge fan of Sam Pittman. I think he's got Arkansas going in the right direction. And, of course, A&M lost their quarterback 2 weeks ago and only scored 10 points against Colorado. If they only score 10 points against Arkansas, they will get beat. But that should be a very good game as well. Also at 3:30 is Clemson and NC State. This game is intriguing because these two teams hate each other. This rivalry was called the Textile Bowl for many years. Clemson is favored by 9 or 10 points, depending on what book you look at. So Clemson is supposed to win, but it's not supposed to be a blowout, in which I'll be surprised if it is, the way Clemson's offense has looked so far. But on Thursday, if you watched my video, I talked about Lyn Dixon transferring from Clemson and gave a reason why I think he's transferring, so I'm not going to get back into that. But I will say a lot of people think it was causing a clancer in the clubhouse because of the fact you had Dabo saying, he's immature, and then you had Lyn Dixon tweeting saying, I'm a great teammate. So a lot of people thought it was causing a cancer in the clubhouse with him being there. So we'll see whether or not it makes a difference now that he is gone. I think Clemson wins, but I think it's going to be another low-scoring game. But hopefully they can do something on offense, something besides throw the ball 3-4 yards downfield every play. But I think Clemson will win, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring, ugly slugfest. Also at 3:30 is Louisville and Florida State. The only reason I wrote this game down is because of the fact Florida State looked so good against Notre Dame. They took the Irish to overtime in a very good game. And then after that, they've looked like absolute total crap. If they lose this game, they'll be 0-4. I don't look at the record books with Florida State, so I don't know how long it's been. My prediction would be it's had to have been a long time ago, the last time Florida State started the season off with a record of 0-4. So that's why that game caught my eye. It's just hard to imagine Florida State 10 years ago being a top 5 program, and now all of a sudden they're just absolute pitiful. Jimbo Fisher just ran that program in the absolute ground, and I think Mike Norvell will get them out if they give him time, but they're so used to winning. I just don't know if he'll get enough time to get them out of the dirt, but they're below dirt as of right now. And then at 7 o'clock, we've got Kentucky and South Carolina. And speaking of things you don't see every day, if Kentucky wins this game, they'll be 4-0. And, Kentucky for many years was terrible. But then when Rich Brooks came in, he started slowly turning them around and getting them good. And then when he left, they had a couple of down years again. But Mark Stoops has built them into a solid program. Nothing great, but they've gone from being a 3 or 4 win team to being a 6 or 7 win team. If they can win this game and get to 4-0, they might win 8 games this year, and that would be a really good season for Kentucky. So this game is intriguing because of the fact Kentucky has a chance to get out to an 0-4 start. And also 7 o'clock is Tennessee and Florida. And I know Florida is supposed to win the game by 3 touchdowns, and they might. But I think Florida used so much energy and so much gas on the Bama game last Saturday that I think Tennessee will hang with them for a while. I don't think Tennessee's going to win, but I do think that when halftime comes around, it's still going to be a competitive game. But I think mid-third quarter, Florida starts pulling away with it. Tennessee just don't have the depth. They've had so many transfers, they just don't have the depth to beat anybody any good. But I think they can hang with them for a half because of, I think, Florida used so much gas in the Bama game last week and almost pulled off the upset. Then, of course, at 7:30 is a game that a lot of people think is going to be an upset, and it includes a top 5 team, the Oklahoma Sooners, as they are at home going up against the West Virginia Mountaineers. I'm not calling for the upset. I haven't checked the point spread because I really don't care what it is, because whether Oklahoma wins or not, I don't know, but I think West Virginia will hang with them. I think Neil Brown has the Mountaineers going in a good direction. They used to have a really good offense but no defense. Now their offense is average, but they're working on getting a really good defense. And, of course, if you watched last week's game, Oklahoma only scored 23 against Nebraska. If they only score 23 tonight against West Virginia, then West Virginia will hang with them as well. But Oklahoma's defense was really good last year. They won their last 5 or 6 games, and the defense looked impressive. And that's why so many people were high on them coming into this year, because they were always known as a team with a really good offense but no defense. But then the second half of last year, they started playing pretty good defense. But so far this year, their defense has not been impressive. It's been the old Oklahoma defense. And if that defense plays against the Mountaineers coming up later on tonight, then the Mountaineers might make this a fourth quarter game. I'm not saying that they win, but I'm saying if they play up to their standards, then this could be a fourth quarter game, just like Oklahoma's game was last week when they played Nebraska, because they definitely played down to their competition, and West Virginia is a better team than Nebraska is. So if the Sooners play down to competition again tonight, this will definitely be a fourth quarter game. If you have any thoughts on any other games, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. What do you call a dog that does magic? A labracadabrador. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.